Hello, and welcome to WTF, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
our posting schedule.
Today's Friday, so it's a very chill book tea episode. There's a whole playlist of these, so if you like this, go ahead and watch the other ones. So
basically, this is a teapot where we have written on slips of old card catalog cards.
Yeah.
Books that we really enjoyed, and we have some things that are technically not books.
Yes.
But we'll talk about those if we get them.
Yeah.
Or you can watch our webtoon episode, which is where we pull two webtoons in the same. Anyway.
Yeah.
It was super fun.
So these are unscripted, obviously, because we don't know what we're gonna pick. So
yeah, we just
sometimes we don't know exactly what we're talking about. So how about you pick first?
Okay.
Wait, we forgot to introduce ourselves.
Okay. Yeah.
So hello, I am Aubin, the author of The Second Nature of Indigo, which we have already done a book tea conversation about.
Yes, we have.
It is a historical fiction, coming-of-age story set in the Victorian era with sprinkles of circus and dashes of murder.
It's very, very cool.
Yeah.
My name is Mariella May. I'm currently working on a fantasy duology, and as Aubin pointed out, everything I'm writing is fantasy.
Or sci-fi. There's that one
There's
sci-fi project.
So I obviously very much enjoy fantasy.
Yeah.
My first book in my duology should be coming out very soon. We are working really hard at it right now. So when we're not making videos, that's generally
pretty much
what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I grab my first slip.
Right.
Oh yes, generally we read what is
the
the random things
the
on
random
there.
words.
The box, Peter Sham. The box, Peter.
That is truly there twice.
New York, 28. Summary, barnyard, and strangle. Animal, 1888. Hey, that's where Aubin's book is set.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay, could you hold?
It was originally set in 1887, but then I realized that involved Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee or something, and I didn't want to be in that year. And then it just worked out to end up.
I don't know what this shortening is.
Mysterious Benedict Society!
Oh, yes!
It was MBS, and I was like, school bus graveyard?
That's like so far off.
I know.
I mean, it's not that far. With dyslexic brain,
yeah,
it's pretty
like
close.
There's
an S and a B.
School bus.
Okay, no, but we're talking about Mysterious Benedict Society.
Which is one of our all-time favorites. Actually, I'm going to go grab our books.
So we talked about this in the Books That Shaped Us as Writers episode, which I think is also in our book tea playlist. It was one of our very, very first episodes. Like, we weren't even in here. Mysterious Benedict Society is... I personally read it. Well, I didn't read it. Okay, I had it read to me when I was 4 or 5. I was really little.
It was kind of insane looking back.
So it was so fundamental for my writing and reading, and something that I heard pointed out a really cool thing is it was by the young writer guy, I think, and it was talking about how people who were read aloud to when they were little or like read a lot of stories grow up to become much better writers. So I'm really glad that I had a lot of books when I was little. So if you have littles, go read to them.
I remember learning tons of words by the vocabulary in this series is amazing. And
it's technically like juvenile, but the vocabulary is
really fantastic.
Vast. So yeah.
And I remember like stopping my dad and asking what words meant. Melancholy being one of them. Now like melancholy is such a common word, but there's always the first time you hear melancholy, and that was in this book.
So generally we give a vague synopsis without any spoilers.
Yeah.
So the broad premise is how it starts is with a newspaper article asking for gifted children to go to this. I think it's on the back.
On the back. We can just read you guys. All right. So, are you a gifted child looking for special opportunities? When this peculiar ad appears in the newspaper, dozens of children enroll to take a series of mysterious, mind-bending tests. And you, dear reader, can test your wits alongside them. But in the end, just 4 very special children will succeed. Their challenge? To go on a secret mission that only the most intelligent and resourceful children could complete. With their newfound friendship at stake, Will they be able to pass the most important test of all? Welcome to the Mysterious Benedict Society. It's so fun.
Also a fun thing. So I, as we kind of mentioned, am dyslexic. So reading was always a really big struggle for me when I was little. So this guy, The Mysterious Benedict Society and the Perilous Journey, the second book in the series, was the first ever physical full-length novel that I read. I was 14. I'm 15 currently.
But now you're all grown up reading Six of Crows.
You're reading Six of Crows and Legendary by Stephanie Yards.
Yeah.
So,
dramatic tone shift. Yeah. This is very
sweet,
chill.
Yeah.
But also with a good deal of, it's like, I would say
it's a good balance.
A really good balance. I remember being extremely first of all, the tests. The tests are kind of well, they're not exactly all creepy, but they're just on the edge of whoa, that was kind of scary, but I'm okay. But it was
as a 6-year-old?
Really okay. I think I was 8.
Yeah, I was 4.
But that kind of makes me feel a little bit on edge, and then I think he does a perfect job of walking that line. Even as a young adult reading it, it's still
engaging.
Really
it's
good.
Really engaging. First of all, the characters are amazing. Also, something I should mention here is the show. Not a good representation of this book series.
I have a big beef with the show.
We have a big beef with the show.
We talked about it in a different... Did we take that entire... I think we might have edited that entire part out of one of our episodes.
Yeah. So, we really love the books. Not so much with the show. So, if you've watched the show and were that's a cool idea, I wish it was...
better.
A little bit better executed.
Then read the books.
Also, something I was going to mention about the Black Book is this is a prequel. It's lovely.
Yeah, it's probably one of the coolest prequels I've ever read.
Yeah.
It's up there with
Songbirds
and Snakes. And I'd say, I can't obviously spoil anything, but the end of that book is
everything about that book is
so
really, really
good. It's such an emotional journey. All the books are emotional, but because... I feel there's less outside danger in the first one, so it's slightly more interior, and it's about one of our favorite characters throughout the... It's called The Extraordinary Education of Nicholas Benedict, and obviously...
Mysterious Benedict
Society. So it just focuses on kind of 1 to 3 characters, and all their stories are so good.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
But... this is not the complete series.
Yes! There is a fourth book, which is, again, really good.
Really good.
And
there's a time skip between the third one and the fourth one.
There's also a time skip between second and third, right?
Yeah, but that's 6 months.
Yeah. And what was crazy was that we read, the fourth book as soon as it came out. And
we were much older.
The same, but we were kind of the same age because we grew up with the characters, and then by the time the fourth one came out again, we were kind of still the same age as the characters, and
it's really good as well.
It's the emotionality of growing up, and it's so good.
Yeah, so all of the Mysterious Benedict Society's books are amazing. I also enjoyed Secret Keepers, which is another book by Trenton Lee Stewart. We also have that one. I wouldn't say that it's as favorite because this, first of all, it has such I have such an emotional attachment to it because, so many firsts for me. But the Secret Keepers is also really interesting.
Boom.
Also,
it's a one-off. It's also very fun.
Yeah,
That's not really a real synopsis.
Especially if you don't want to go...
This one's also beat up. It's well-loved. It's well-loved.
Especially if you don't want to go into, a full series.
This one's also fun.
I would say that the writing style in the Mysterious Benedict Society, all of the books, are a little bit more my style. I just like...
the plot style? Because I feel
and I like the characters more.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
So...
all the characters. You said you like stories within stories, though, and one of the best in-book stories is in this book.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Man, there's some... Okay, so I don't know how... If we didn't edit the other part out, we're just going to talk about Kate for a second. So, because I read the Mysterious Benedict Society, at such a young age, Kate became kind of like my role model. Kate does circus. She's super active. She's super kind. She's super helpful. She's like always there, and she's amazing, and I love Kate so much. And I think
I grew up to be Constance. So.
I desired to be Kate in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
And
the show does not capture Kate.
The show does not capture Kate. Like, her strength, not as much.
Her kindness.
No. They write her to be kind of
rude.
Yeah.
Or snippish, I guess.
Yeah, and Kate does an excellent job of being kind when she does. So she does snap. She's a human, but
she's almost funny about. She's like she
is just such an amazing character,
and she handles Constance so well.
And I think when we were younger, you used to
it was
resemble
like a Kate
Constance
and
a lot more,
yeah.
and I took hope in the Constance-Kate relationship.
So yeah.
Now you guys should go read it just to find out who Constance is versus who Kate is.
I mean, so much about Constance is me.
Yes, it really is. The rhyming,
everything.
The bossiness.
Yeah.
A little bit. She's gotten so much better. But I think also like the emotionality.
The emotionality
of Constance.
The like smart
brightness, but can also be really tired. And then Kate has to carry her.
Wow, yeah.
I know.
The more I think about it, the more I'm like, Constance.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's very insightful. Constance is very insightful into other people, even though she pretends not to like them. You don't pretend not to like people, though.
That's true.
Yeah. Kate likes
everyone.
No, she doesn't like everyone.
That's true. She's kind to most everyone.
She's kind to most everyone, except for a few people.
I just want to put my arm on this, because it's such a like nice armrest height.
Yeah, that's a little bit too high for me. It's like almost above shoulder height, and this dress is like...
Yeah, it's like right below shoulder for me.
So let's just keep talking about how amazing this book is. The writing style is obviously fantastic. So
the little mysteries. So fun.
Oh, yes, so clever. It's like, I've heard people relate it to... Series of Unfortunate Events, and I think it has a lot of the cleverness that what's his name, Lemony Snicket. Yeah, there we go. It has the like sharp wit of Lemony Snicket. Okay, maybe not sharp wit, but it has the cleverness of Lemony Snicket, but it's not as dour, hopeless, and truly deeply melancholy.
Yeah,
this is much more...
Like, dips its toes into that sometimes,
because
but it also
it's realistic.
Yeah, because it's so alive. It also has so many other things that it's going into.
I'd say Lemony Snicket kind of dances around the line of, like, caricatures and characters. And I'd say that Mysterious Benedict Society does that less.
It really fleshes out most of the characters. Like, there are only, like, a few
even
side
in the
characters.
Fourth book.
Yeah, everything is very solid in, like, you really feel like you're there. So
I remember reading through, two things. I remember reading through this as I was editing the Second Nature of Indigo, and I didn't really allow myself to read hardly anything while I was writing Indigo, which was like a period of almost 3 years. And so this was one of the few things I actually read, and it was I was kind of like, how could I ever write something as good as this? But it was also a perfect example of what I was learning. It was like, this is how you vary your sentence structure. This is how you make it not sound like you're trying to vary your sentence structure. And the balance of character description and speaking and anyway, it was...
Oh, yeah. Something that they do really well is you always can see the character. Like, if you watched our alpha and beta reading videos, we talk about how to keep your character consistent, or, like, how to keep an eye out for that. And that is one of the things that they do so well. And even though in ways you could be like, oh, well, that's very character-y, like, it's just... oh, that one's that... It's like, oh, that's the little girl who's just like, blah-de-da-de-da. But when you really get into it, they're so much more complex than, like, how you could ever describe them. It's like trying to describe a person.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, oh, yeah, my
you
friend...
You can occasionally break them down into, like, a few aspects of them, but that's always limiting.
Yeah, and you're never going to know the person just from, like, hearing a description about them. So that is something really cool about this book. Like, I feel like I know all the characters, and... I saw this really interesting thing talking about how modern Disney characters have kind of fell into a repetitive pattern. Like, one of the questions that was asked in the video was basically like, so if you put them all in the same situation, how would they react? And they gave a great point of how a lot of the modern Disney princesses would act pretty similarly, whereas some of the previous ones would act more varied.
That's interesting.
I think something really cool about this is that no character would react the same way.
Oh, and that's like a large point of the opening of the book, because they all have to pass these tests, and none of them pass the test in the same way. Which is
so you already, amazing. From like the first, like, you know, the very beginning of it, you already have such a varied cast. And then throughout all of the books and all the things that they have to go through, they all have very different solutions to the same problem.
Yes, and they all... The way they come together to work together and the struggles of that, but still
because sometimes
working, it's
everyone's
so
like
good.
little things, like one person's...
Push the other person.
one person's problem might really annoy another person. Yeah. Oh, just thinking of Sticky and Constance.
Oh, I was thinking of Kate and Constance.
Yeah.
Sticky and Constance,
is another. And they all annoy each other in different ways.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all helpful to each other in different ways.
Which is like real humans and real friends. Like, when you're in a group of friends, everyone kind of pushes different buttons, but they also, like, help you in ways that the other people can't.
Yeah. And take care of you in different ways. Like, each character takes care of the other characters, but they're all so different about it. Like, even how they all take care of
the same person.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't want to spoil too much, but it is... so the other thing... Wait,
and it's great for all ages. Like, our parents read it to us, obviously,
and they loved it.
So...
So I think our parents' favorite book was this one, The Extraordinary Education.
I think that's Mom's favorite, and
Mom's
Dad's favorite is the
first one. Oh,
it's
the new one. Okay.
We call it the new one because it came out later.
Yeah, it came out in like 2019.
We're like, so new.
We were so close to going to a book signing with him, but we didn't. Moment of silence for the book signing we never went to. It's okay. We're gonna meet Trenton Lee Stewart eventually someday. Hopefully, that's one of our goals. Okay. Wait, I had another thing to say.
I also want to meet Patrick Rothfuss.
Yeah.
And tell him to go and write the next Name of the Wind book.
And then I'll be like, wow, you're like everyone else I know. No, I had a second thing. It was. Oh yes. Okay. So when I was publishing Second Nature of Indigo, I had an editor, and she was currently, at the time, she was freelancing, but she had worked before in traditional publishing a lot. And when she read my book, she was kind of giving me advice. She was like, so because there is not really an active romance plot, it wouldn't fit really well into the YA category, because pretty much all YA has an active romance subplot or major plot, but the vocabulary is too advanced for a juvenile book. So she was like, it's kind of tricky, but this is what I thought of when she told me that, because I was like, this has super advanced vocabulary,
but it's still
a juvenile book.
I would say a similar thing.
It's not really a juvenile book.
It's not.
It's really
there's like this middle area, and I would also put Gregor the Overlander there.
I would put
because
my book in there.
Yeah, your book.
I was gonna say Mirror Visitor, but then I realized I was very wrong. Mirror Visitor is a young adult or adult book.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know how it ended up in juvenile. That's the only category it didn't belong in.
Maybe it's because it's French. The French
were like, if it's French, they should just know that it doesn't belong in juvenile.
The French were like, no, this is juvenile.
This is for kids.
The Americans were like, okay, cool.
They didn't check the book. Oh, it's amazing. We talk about Mirror
Visitor
a lot. You probably heard us. If you listen to this normally, you've probably heard us talk way too much about Mirror Visitor.
Yes, but what we were saying. Yeah, it's this great area. I would say first of all, I would say that most books in this category can be enjoyed by any age.
Yes.
Over, like,
agreed.
Little. Because the stories are usually very...
Every time you read them, you learn something more.
Yeah. And, like, I absolutely love Gregor the Overland, the story.
Yeah.
It is technically a juvenile, and I think, like, with yours, it's because it's not romantic. Like, it doesn't
have a super active romantic arc.
So, I think that's why they put it in juvenile, but it has, like, pretty intense fight scenes.
Yeah. And this too, throughout the,
It has, like, some pretty intense, not, like...
It's not, I would say it's suspenseful and, like, minor peril. It's okay, it's perilous. It's not, like, bloody, it's perilous.
Yeah, Gregor is more violent.
Gregor is more violent.
This one is more, like, suspenseful, almost. Like, there is a pretty big threat against...
Yes. And it's more,
It's very thoughtful. It's
very thoughtful peril. Very thoughtful.
Thoughtful peril. So, yeah. I mean, I think all the books that we just mentioned are good for most ages, except for Mirror Visitor.
Not Mirror Visitor, but I'd say from, like, 5th grade on.
Yeah.
4th grade? I had already read these in 4th grade, so...
Oh, I read these in 1st grade, or, like, kindergarten. I was 4.
Wow.
I was 4 years old. I wasn't even in school.
Wow.
We were homeschooled, so I didn't actually have, like, a grade exactly. So, yeah. I was learning stuff, but I technically wasn't in school.
Yeah.
But I super enjoyed this at 4 years old, so no matter what age you are, you can enjoy it.
Wait for Gregor the Overlander. Don't do Gregor at 4.
Don't do Gregor at 4.
Do Gregor at 10.
10 is good.
10 is good. I think, is the main character 10 in the first book of Gregor?
I think he's 10 throughout the entire series.
No.
He turns
I think
11.
I remember him turning 12, right?
Maybe.
He's got to turn 12 at some point.
Yeah, that's probably...
Man has experienced a lot of life.
In, like, 2 years. So, yeah.
And also, I'd say this series has a pretty solid
Characters
end.
experience a lot of life in this.
Characters experience a lot of life. I would read this for comfort over and over again.
Yeah,
because
it's so good.
It feels like home in a book with paper.
Yeah.
It's like my house, my mental palace is made out of paper, and it's this.
But it's still, like, you know, it's not, like, just cozy. It's, like, a little bit...
It's just cozy.
An adventure.
It's more than Diner. If you watched the episode last week, Diner is super cozy. Diner is, like...
chill.
Very chill, very cozy. This is like 2 steps up.
First of all, this has a, like, through-line plot throughout...
Which is great. The through-line plot is
it's
really
so cool.
good.
Each book has its own, like, wrap-up for its, like, plot.
Every book feels satisfying in a way.
Woo. So
I would...
ends, but it's leading to the next one.
I just thought of a quote from your book, but I won't say it because your book isn't published yet. I had a thought. Oh, I'd say... character development wise, okay, different thought. Sometimes adults have a really hard time writing children that are smart, but also emotionally the age they are.
Yeah.
This is one of the most perfect examples ever of, I'd say, an adult writing a child.
I would say that one of the characters is far too young.
Okay, yes, but in general,
they all feel like their age. I think most of them are 10. Anyway, they're like preteens. And they all feel very honestly preteens.
And the emotional intelligence and representation never, ever, ever dips. I'd say it always follows.
Yeah.
How
smart.
How smart, because sometimes I feel like adults just write children really dumb.
Or, like, anyone. I feel like there are a lot of times people are like, okay, this character is so smart, and then they do something that doesn't make sense with, like, their character. So, this, I don't think ever breaks. Like,
I don't remember a huge time.
I don't remember any.
Okay, there were
a couple times that they did stuff, but I think it's more, like, again,
I'd
different
say,
ways of doing it. Like, they're all using their intelligence in very different ways.
Comparatively.
But they're all really smart,
close.
which is so cool to, like, you know, all kids, all smart.
Yeah.
Which, as a kid, I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah,
like,
I feel like it's really encouraging to read as a kid because you're like, I do think like this, and then it's
Yeah.
like I could also think deeper, and then I could think more like this, and I think that comes from I think that the reality written into these books comes from a really deep respect of Trenton Lee Stewart's towards children.
Yeah.
And I think that
And really honoring the
C.S. Lewis
creativity.
also had a deep
Yeah.
respect for children, and that's why he wrote such good books who do, yes, appeal to children and follow very smart children who do hard things.
And Suzanne Collins.
And Suzanne Collins with Gregor.
I'm going to be really weird and mention Six of Crows, because everyone in Six of Crows is too young. But if you think about the situation that they're in, you would grow up faster.
You do. Yeah.
And they think like they lived in that situation. So I'm actually super happy that they are as complex and thoughtful as they are at the age that they are. Because if you are dealing with all the stuff that they're dealing with daily, you would become really thoughtful in that way.
Yeah.
Basically, we like books that have really cool characters that are any age. I also like books with much older characters, especially I don't know, it's just rare that you see as I don't know. It's just
How old are the characters in Name of the Wind?
There's a lot of characters.
A lot of characters, okay.
And I mean, it's a long story, so yeah.
Okay.
I just like seeing a varied cast, and there's a varied cast in here, which I loved as a little kid.
Yeah.
So we generally rate the books.
Oh,
10 out of 10, 11 out of 10.
I was gonna say 15 out of 10, but that's probably too
15?
high. But
I would say 11.
Okay, 11 to 12.
Maybe 12.
11 to 12 out of 10.
11.5.
11.95.
Okay, 95?
Or 11.99.
99.99.
0.999.
It's like bacteria. I mean, killing bacteria with hand sanitizer. But even better.
Yeah.
Because it's 11 out of 10. Almost 12. So yeah.
So
We absolutely love this book. Please, go read it if you're
what do I need to read? Go read these.
Yeah. Add it to all of your TBRs.
And you can finish them.
pretty quickly. If you're more of an audiobook person, they're read excellently.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
You have some reading material. Just kidding. You can add it to your TBR.
Yes. Come back when you want. Oh, yeah, I forgot that there's a puzzle book.
I know. Maybe we should get it.
I haven't read it. Alrighty,
I think
guys.
it's maybe the one Trenton Lee Stewart we
maybe
don't
we
don't
have some reading to do.
Yes, we have some homework.
Well, we will see you
later.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy writing, happy reading.
Yeah. And also,
Living.
if you want to hang out with us more, we also have a Discord.
Join our community on Discord. We're figuring out how to use it and making a more active community.
So
Eventually.
hope to see you there.
Ha. Mwah.